Disclaimer: the following Boundless PodTrap episode contains strong opinions that some listeners may and will find offensive. If you cannot accept or respect others with a differing opinion from yours, then fuck off.
Rolling sound.
I like turtles.
Let me see your war face.
Now, y'all ain't planning on fucking these chickens, are you?
Picture it. Sicily, 1920.
Aren't we fucking funny?
Streaming from the Midwest, right in the middle of the U.S. From Omaha, Nebraska, you're listening to the Boundless PodTrap, your entertainment podcast where we touch on all topics, from the crazy and absurd to the sacred and profane, and even the useless and unnecessary. The Boundless PodTrap knows no bounds. And now, here are your hosts.
Jeez, that was loud.
That was loud.
Oh, you're going to not like me this episode.
No more of those. We have input.
From who? You? The guy did editing it?
Half of this editing is going to be Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
What about Hacksaw Jim Duggan? How do you get his theme music to play?
Hold on, let me take my...
You could go to YouTube and type in Hacksaw Jim Duggan, WWF entrance theme, hit play, listen to it. Then you could go to Spotify and type in Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Or you can just go...
Oh! Damn it.
Hey guys, welcome to this episode. What number is this one now?
Fofo.
I believe it's 30.
You sound like a back alley. Like, is that your Lonnie impression?
Speaking of, we got some news. I'm back. John. This is John.
We lost Lonnie.
We lost Lonnie because he's in jail.
in Indonesia.
In Indonesia for beating me up, which we're going to get into here in a moment. No, Lonnie has an early trip. He joined us for the movie podcast, but he is going to take a nap.
Lonnie's, I can't do what Lonnie
He's
does.
no longer with us for this segment.
Episode.
And
You know, I came aboard and we've done 3 podcasts and only one have had all 4 of us here. We're dropping like flies. So you're gone next week.
Don't say that.
You'll say that. Anyway, welcome back.
You also don't say.
you welcome back. Damn it.
Okay, I'll stop for a while.
Wait for it. Okay, it's clear.
Yeah, right. It's good to be back, guys. If I could have been here for last time, I would have.
You could have been.
But I was less than 24 hours out of surgery and on some Oxy. That could have been fun. I could have been remote like Rolani was, and you can hear every third word.
If you were here, that twine wouldn't have lasted in your
Okay.
eye.
So
You would have
first
been
of
laughing
all,
so
some
hard.
corrections from last week, by the way. Randy Newman is not dead, by the way, guys.
Randy Newman is dead.
Not this Randy Newman.
Well, I was talking about a military hero who died named Randy Newman.
I'm listening to the podcast and I'm like, Randy Newman is not dead, guys. Like he's...
And it made sense. So he texted me afterwards, after he listened to it, and I'm like, you know what? That fucking tracks, man. Because if he would have died back in 2004, we wouldn't have any of that music that strictly states, like, you know, all the stuff that's going on in the Toy Story movies.
He literally just did a Toy Story movie. What was that?
We outside in a windstorm at a flagpole.
Who's playing tetherball?
Kick ass in tetherball.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Randy Newman's not dead.
Thank God.
My face was not held together by twine. We'll get into that here in a minute. We'll get into the whole story of what happened because a million people are asking me. As my face is still like numb right now.
His face is
So you can just refer people to this episode.
Hideous, exactly. I
Okay.
can just be like, watch this. We'll get a lot more traffic because I'm done telling the fucking story.
Well,
Except for one more time.
We're gonna get the juthy.
You're gonna hear some stuff that actually hasn't been heard before by anyone. Well,
and I'm sure we're gonna ask some questions
like
that
The full scoop.
Yeah, I can't wait for these questions. But also, Jeremy's dick is not that big, guys.
Well,
I'm looking right at it. He doesn't wear pants
that's
in the
because
studio.
you only have one shoe on.
That's fair. Well, it's half a shoe right now.
Nice.
Well,
I had a whole list of stuff that was corrections from last time, but it's been a rough 6 weeks because I got laid off this week because I didn't put someone on the schedule, I guess. So
that sounds to me like they were.
I feel
just waiting for some reason to let you go.
He was also telling us about that, and it's like that doesn't make any sense because the person that wasn't on the schedule still showed up, and it's like, well, wait. So nothing happened.
There was
and you got fired?
Yeah, I fought it all weekend and to no avail. But thanks to those who have reached out with offers, including people in this room.
Do you still get your discount?
No, I go. My Xbox headset was fucking up, and I was like, of course it is when I get fired. So I was like, oh, maybe they haven't
taking
changed
this.
it.
Michael Laughlin is your hookup for friends and family.
Oh yeah, I mean, I got friends and family too. I can
Shut
just
the
say
fuck
that
up! I tried helping you.
Well, my grandma used to work there a long time. But anyway, a lot of people have reached out to jobs. In fact, I have applications out there and waiting to hear back from some of those. So hopefully soon.
So you might, next time you make a trip out to Spearmint Rhino, you might be seeing John.
I might be wiping the floors.
In the theater.
Why is he not using a...
But yeah, I had a bunch of notes and I can't remember like 90% of them because they cleaned up they didn't even let me go into my office.
It's your personal belongings.
To go get my shit. I was like, if you're worried about me raging out because you fired me for a stupid reason, well, A, you're correct. But B, just have security walk with me. You know what I mean? Like have them watch. No, I showed up to get my stuff on, what was that, Tuesday or Wednesday? And it was in bags in a shopping cart.
And homeless people were going through it.
Yeah, it was weird. But thanks for the free computer speakers that weren't mine. They were actually yours that you threw in my bag anyway. So it's been fun going through the bag. I realized I had a lot of shit just piled up. There's like
they give you a
Taco
swag
Bell
bag?
packets and shit in there. I'm like, why'd you give me all this shit back?
They just threw in other people's junk. They're just like,
they might as well have at that point. They did forget the little dongle for my keyboard, but I had somebody go in and get
dongles.
Oh yeah.
Stop it.
Got dongle.
Got dongle. So yeah, it's been a fun few weeks, but this is all right after I got my fucking face caved in.
Literally.
From some neighbors.
Is that our first topic or is that our last topic?
No, I think we should start off with that.
All right.
I want to get it out of the way so we can enjoy the rest of the podcast.
Once he gets it off his chest, he can start the healing process. So...
Yeah, speaking of healing, I am not 100% still. I have a follow-up in a couple of days on Tuesday. We'll see what they say.
For those who are wondering, it did not affect the baby at all.
No. No, I aborted that long before then.
Whoa. It doesn't work.
Oh, I don't know that I can do up to that.
No, Ho is who was having the baby. Anyway.
Like, I feel like he's joking, but he's also sort of serious.
I'll give a half one for that. Oh.
What play does Eugene play with that?
Yeah, it's been rough, and a million people have been asking me questions. Let's just get into it. So
1 million people.
Where were you?
But we only have 2 subscribers.
Well, they're all going to be directed to this because I'm tired of telling the story.
Yes.
So my neighbors since the 4th of July. So my apartment layout, let me put that in there. You walk in, you walk up 7. What the fuck? You walk up, Your Honor. You walk up 7 steps and there's my apartment. And directly across is somebody else's apartment. So our doors face each other. So for weeks, so this accident happened on July 31st at 1:30 in the morning. So Saturday night into Sunday. But before that, like every Thursday night, I think that's like their day off or whatever. They had people coming over. They were loud. They were obnoxious. They were starting to light artillery shells off and just throw them from the deck. There's a Cox parking lot. Both of our decks. Yeah. Both of our decks face that parking lot. There used to be a tree in front of it. And the first time they did it, they hit the tree and then it exploded all over all the decks that were over there. They did like 3, and then I stood out on my patio, and they came out for the first time, and they were like, oh, shit. And they like shut their blinds and shit. So I was like, all right, whatever. Like jackasses getting rid of their fireworks. Like this was the Thursday. 4th of July was on a Monday. And so this was like that Thursday after. Then the next week, same thing. Then the next week, same thing. And so they came home this time, and they were being jackasses. They threw the firework off. They giggled. They ran inside. And then I hear a car alarm going off. which is on the other side of the building, which is where my bedroom window faces. So I went out to the bedroom window and I'm looking, and it's his car. It's was it a Challenger or Charger? I can't remember.
I think it was a Charger.
Yeah. One of those douchey idiot cars. The car alarm was going off, which is his. So he's going out there and he's trying to turn it off. And it's a couple minutes and it's still going off. And, people, you start seeing lights turn on in apartments around, like, what the fuck's going on? Obviously it's 1:30 in the morning. So what?
That's a G's.
Yeah.
I don't remember the exact time that you were given.
1:30. Well, it's around this time because I made the 911 call at 1:48. Around, between 1:30 and 2 o'clock.
You gave him at least 20 minutes before you.
Right. Well, I'm sitting there watching him, and for some reason he decides that he's going to start his car and turn it off that way, and that didn't work. So then he's doing like a back and forth, moving his vehicle. By the way, he's completely hammered, and it's still not going off. So then he backs all the way up, and this is where I get annoyed. I'm already annoyed, but he backs into a vehicle. It's next to mine, but it isn't my vehicle. But it's still like, come on, you're hitting a car in a parking lot. Then he speeds off and comes back about 2 minutes later with the alarm off. So I guess, you have to reach 88 miles an hour to turn off your car alarm. Anyway, he comes back in, and then he's sitting in his car for like 5 minutes. And I'm like, I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he's writing a note, at least. I mean, it's almost 2 a.m. Nobody's going to be up. Well, they probably are up because of the alarm, but I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. Then he gets out of his car, slams the door, and then he's like stumbling between the cars. And I realized he didn't write a note. He probably just was throwing up or something. He couldn't get up. So in order to get to his apartment, he has to walk by mine. And so once he gets to the stairs, I open the door and I'm like, hey, man, you gonna leave a note? What are you talking about? I was like, I watched you hit that car, man. Like, I'm not trying to get the cops involved, nothing. I go, be a responsible adult and leave a note. And he's like, I haven't driven all night. And that's when the door opens in the apartment, and it's almost like how this room's set up right now. Like, he's about that far away, and then
his boyfriend.
I'm more like right here. Yeah, his boyfriend
comes out.
His friend's sitting there just chirping at the door.
Say
like,
boyfriend.
His boyfriend's sitting there chirping at the door like a fat.
Oh!
Are you ready for the guck?
But no, his boyfriend's sitting there chirping in the fucking like, why don't you go to bed? Like, fuck you, blah, 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 blah. And these kids, mind you, they're like 25 years old.
Oh, it was Lonnie?
It was Lonnie. No. That's why he's in jail. Okay, so I'm sitting there and he's like, I haven't driven. He's like, yeah, we Ubered here. I'm like, I understand you Ubered here, but I just saw you go to your car. Like, I wish that I literally was filming it, because I feel like you have to film anything anymore to get anybody to believe you. And you'll find out why I wish I filmed it in a minute. But so that's all happening, and the resident is like, why don't you come show me where I hit this car? So I stepped out of my apartment, and the other guy keeps chirping. He's like, what, fuck you, why don't you go to bed? And so I turn to him and I go, you don't even live here. Shut the fuck up and let me deal with this. And as soon as I turned back to go to his friend, that's when I got blindsided. And when I mean blindsided, I mean I got hit in the face, then almost headlocked, and then hit 10 to 15 times in the face.
So he had you in like a dominant position.
Yeah.
He attacked you from the back to side-ish.
Yeah.
And then...
Yeah, I assume he was left-handed, because if he's not, maybe that's why I don't have a completely caved-in face, because he didn't have enough power or whatever. But it was all left-handed shots, and then blood started just pouring out of my face. I sent you guys the pictures. Like, you've seen the blood coming out of it.
Yeah. What was the time gap between those pictures?
Okay, so I noticed blood started getting up. Once he stopped, like, I think there was a girl, his girlfriend or whatever, not the resident's girlfriend, but the guy who's beating me's girlfriend, like, pulled him off, and they all ran into the apartment. And that's when I turned and noticed I was pouring blood, and I just called them a bitch, and they slammed their door. And I was like, okay, I got to grab my phone and call 911 because I'm bleeding. Like, I don't know. So I call 911 first. I get a towel. And then, so between the beating and those pictures, I would say 4 or 5 minutes, maybe, because I called first, and then I went into the mirror, and I was like, fuck, like, blood was literally pouring out of my nose. There's still blood on my door handle and around my door. I realize I haven't cleaned that up. Like, it's just dry blood. Like, it like sprayed from like shots. Just
you earned that.
Yeah,
that's your keep.
Yeah, it's disgusting. But it was instant bruising, and I'll post the photos when I share the link for this Some of you have probably already seen them if you're friends on Facebook.
It caught me off guard when I was scrolling through and saw that. I was like, this is a prank. This is a joke.
And that's what Rob, I've posted my finger being mangled before as a joke. And obviously I had that pregnancy prank that I did years ago. So when I post something, I get people's apprehension at first, like, oh, fuck, is this real? Is this real? But I mean, even our makeup artists on the Mystery Manor movie were like,
you can't duplicate that.
They have taken my photos for reference.
It was your second photo like the next day where I'm like, okay, that's real.
Yeah, his eye was swole.
Yeah, and so
I don't mean jacked, but it was jacked. Yeah.
So I call 911. The cops take 20 fucking minutes to get there, and I'm just, bleeding, and I look in the mirror, and it's just bruising from the forehead all the way down to the jaw.
Well, around what time is this?
This is around 2 in the morning then. Because like I said, I called them at 1:48. That's the time I remember. Because I remember looking and it was like 2:13. And I'm like, why the fuck are they still not here? Like, sorry I wasn't life-threatening. You know what I mean? Like, it's bullshit. So then 2 of the newest cops out of the academy fucking show up. And they're not really taking me serious until I turn sideways. And they see the instant, the bruising and the bleeding. And they're like, oh, fuck. Like, what the fuck? So they go try to knock on the door. Nothing, obviously. I did, while I was trying to clean up, heard a car. Unsure if it was them getting the fuck out of there or, they do the classic thing when you're in trouble. Turn off all the lights and pretend you're not home kind of thing.
Which apparently is all you have to do nowadays to not get in trouble.
Literally all you have to do.
And they're like, oh, they're not answering the door.
Yeah. And so I'm stubborn. They took the police report and they were like, if they come back, call us, blah, blah, blah. So, I'm up pretty late. I keep peeking to see if anybody's going to come out, if they're trying to leave, anything like that. I can see their deck from my deck, so I keep peeking over there. Anything for them to come back. I want to take a picture of them, anything like that. And so the next morning, I was apprehensive to go to sleep, obviously. I didn't black out. I didn't get the stars, despite most of the damage being orbital. Yeah. And I'm stubborn, and I'm like, well, let's just see if it heals. I'm from a walk it off kind of family. My dad has fucked up toes because nobody believed him. He ever broke his toes when he was little. Don't ask her to look at them. They're disgusting.
Cross that off my list real quick.
You really do have a list. What swelled my eye was I went to blow my nose to get the blood out, and that's when it just like instantly ballooned up. And so that kind of scared me. Like, oh my God, what the fuck? Called out of work Monday. I sent my bosses the photos. I hadn't posted. I hadn't told anyone. My bosses were actually the first people to find out, technically, because I texted them and I was like, hey, I'm not going to be at work. And then, so I made a doctor's appointment. They couldn't get me in until Tuesday. Like, again, this was all Sunday morning. So 2 days later, I finally am going to the doctor. And that's when I posted on Facebook and I texted my mom and, I texted important people and was like, this is what's happening. I'm going to the doctor. I'm going to find out, blah, blah, blah. They're like, why the fuck did you wait? Obviously I get scolded first before anything. Go to the doctor. They want to do a CT scan. So I go get a CT scan, which takes like 2 minutes, by the way. You literally lay there and it's like, and then I like went back to work.
That'd be $8,000?
Yeah, right. Basically. Oh, we'll get into that in a sec. They then wanted to check and see if there was any optical damage. And so I got that Wednesday. I was set up with an appointment. I forget what they're called. Over there on 132nd and Dodge. It's like Omaha Optical something, which that was a very long appointment. It was like 2 hours. And so like, they're doing the test, cover one eye, cover this eye. And then they like, you're putting your eye in a machine and they're like looking at that and they're flashing lights at you. And then they put like these drops in your eye that make your fucking eyeball yellow and then dilated as shit. Like I was like, this is kind of annoying. It was kind of trippy though. The last test they did, I put it in there and they were like green light, red light, it's just strobing all over the place. I borrow one of Lonnie's edibles. I probably would have had a good time, but
you're welcome.
Yeah.
Is that your Lonnie impression?
I was trying.
Do edibles. Kicking in.
I can't do it. I'm sorry.
It was close. We all were close. It's fine. Lonnie's here in spirit. Little bitch. Where was I? Okay, so eye appointment. So long story short, nothing's wrong with the eye. So that's good. Obviously, you want that to be one of the first things. Then I get a phone call. They're trying to find somebody in town, a surgeon, that's available. Because apparently plastic surgeons are completely booked in this town forever. So they found somebody in Lincoln on that following Monday. And I was like, I mean, I guess if that's the only person that can get me in, whatever. They're like, okay, yeah, you probably have to see a second guy because this guy only does orbital stuff. But they told me I had several orbital fractures and a jawline fracture as well as a busted sinus, which is taking the longest to heal. That nerve is why my face is still numb from, you guys can't see, but in the room you can see that this whole area is still just numb. I've actually bitten my lip and not even like I didn't feel it. Like it was weird. But anyway.
So that's your new superpower?
Yeah, right.
You don't feel pain?
I don't feel pain. So I'm like, great, I gotta, I'm trying to plan to go to Lincoln on that Monday. And then later before I leave work, I get another phone call that says, it's from CHI and they're like, we're here to confirm your appointment for Tuesday. And I'm like, wait, what? Like, what the fuck? And I was like, let me call my doctor and see what's going on. Well, it turns out they found a guy at CHI who can do both. Like if I needed surgery, they can do the orbital and the jaw.
He's good.
Yeah, he's
probably in on it too.
What's the word? I fucking watch Grey's Anatomy all the time. What's the word?
Professional.
Trauma surgeon.
And
welcome. So I was like, well, yeah. They're like, do you want me to cancel your Monday? I'm like, well, yeah, I'd rather wait another day to get somebody here in Omaha who can do both. You know what I mean? So they kept going, yeah, they want to schedule you for surgery, blah, blah. At this point,
were
surgery
they giving
was
you any sort of like meds at this point?
I had amoxicillin for the infection in the sinus, which is why they told me not to blow my nose because it could have forced mucus into the fracture, which would have caused a giant infection. So I wasn't able to blow my nose for almost 5 weeks.
So would you have had to been driven out to Lincoln if you did?
Maybe. The amoxicillin, I wasn't on anything heavy at that point. I wasn't on anything heavy until the actual surgery. Right. I have a pretty high pain tolerance.
Now he's bragging.
Yeah.
I mean, I got to have one thing good about that. You know what I mean? But while they were talking about the Tuesday appointment, they kept saying surgery. And up at this point, it was, we might need surgery. It could heal on its own. And I'm like, God, crossing fingers because nobody wants to have fucking surgery, especially,
of the face.
Yeah, exactly. And so
many people want to have face surgery.
Well, yeah, some of them need it. I wish they could have done something with this. But so I finally just asked, I go, so it does need surgery? And he goes, oh, yeah. He saw the CT and he's like, I need to operate immediately, blah, blah, blah.
Why are they telling you something else then?
Well, that was...
He's like, your shit's all fucked up. And they're like, no, it might be
to
fine.
be fair, they're not surgeons. They're just general family doctors.
But do you need to be a surgeon to look at a CT scan and see fractures and be like, yeah.
I could have declined surgery.
Was like
it
a bulbous...
wasn't like a necessity. But here's the deal. I pondered it for about an hour because they said you don't have to do the surgery. However, it could heal, but not properly. And over time, your eye could slip into the actual socket. And that's the exact face I did. Like,
that sounds fun.
I said, I think I better do some surgery at this point.
My mind immediately went to Sloth from the Goonies.
Yeah, I mean, honestly.
Hey, you guys.
And so,
John.
Like, fucking J.R. Shawn Michaels. But, so after talking about it over with my mother, we decided that surgery, we went and talked to him on that Tuesday and they scheduled us for the next day, Wednesday. And they're like, we need to do this as soon as possible because they want to do it within 7 to 10 days because if it starts to heal on its own, they have to re-break it and then operate on it.
Like headlock and...
Yeah, maybe. I mean, the exact same...
They call that guy back.
Yeah. That'd be nice. I could have fucking find out who it is.
You again.
Round 2.
So we booked the surgery for the next day. This was August 10th at, I think it was 1:30, the original appointment. And so we're discussing all that. I'm talking to my mom. She's like, yeah, I'll take off. I'll drive you there, blah, blah, blah. Then I get a phone call from their insurance department. CHI is not in my network for my insurance. And I was like, fuck. And they're like, yeah, if you have this surgery, you would be responsible for 100% of the cost.
Jeez, fuck.
Ask the number.
No.
No, go ahead.
What's the number?
Of what?
Of the medical bill.
$30,000.
$30,000.
That I would have to 100% pay. So I almost hung up. And I said, keep the appointment. I'm going to call my insurance and see what we can do. In the meantime, she gave me 2 numbers of a doctor that they use or a surgeon that they use when this specific doctor, Dr. Reddy was the guy who did the surgery, that Dr. Reddy uses when he's out of town.
That's his name.
Wait till you hear his first name. I can't pronounce it. So sorry, you're not going to hear it.
Okay.
He asked me if I'm okay. But one of the top surgeons in town, though. Anyway, so I look in the network on my app, and the first name they gave me was in network. So I called him to make an appointment, but the earliest he can get me in is 3 days ago. So September 12th would have been
nearly 2 months.
Yeah, nearly 2 months, 6 weeks after the actual injury. And I'm like, at this point, if that's what it takes to get it covered by insurance, YOLO. So in the meantime, I call my insurance and they're like, well, you can have your doctor file an emergency thing that says this is the only doctor in town who could do it, blah, blah, blah. So I call my doctor. And this girl, Marissa, I just got this doctor recently. Like, this was honestly my first time dealing with them. This Marissa chick went to bat for me. She spent well over 6 hours talking to my insurance company and just give me what I need to do to make this happen. Because this literally, like you just heard me say, September 12th, that's unacceptable.
You would have been sloth by now.
Yeah, exactly. And so long story short, that gets done. And I call the doctor back and they're like, oh, Jenny, I think her name was Jenny, canceled the appointment. And I was like, why? I told her. And so now I'm not on the books. And it's like, well, what the fuck? So they're like, okay, we'll call you back if we can bump somebody to Friday. And I'm waiting and waiting and waiting. And then they finally call me back and they're like, Dr. Reddy said, bump this guy. I don't care. I need to get him in tomorrow. So again, Dr. Reddy knew, I don't want to have to re-break this 2 days later because it's already starting to heal. So like, we should get this in. And then I had to wait until the very second I woke up on the 10th to find out that they did get the emergency thing going through. After all that, I still owe 10 grand.
Jeez.
So, I mean, better than 30 grand, but actually me being without a job right now might actually help. I can probably file something for some assistance. We'll find out. I'm dealing with that in a minute. So.
That's on top of the assault.
Yeah. And so, right. It's been fun. Go in for surgery. They booked me. It's like an hour later than I thought. And then, of course, I'm sitting there waiting. I've never had surgery before. So I've never been under. I've never had an IV. I've never done any of this stuff. So all this was happening for the first time. Shout out to my friend Nikki, who works at Emmanuel and came and said hi to kind of calm me down a little bit. And then, so they're like, yeah, your surgery's at 2, recovery time. You'll be home between 4 and 5. I'm like, all right, that's not terrible, I remember being wheeled into the room and a bunch of people like strapping me down to this table. And then I remember waking up. Like, I don't even remember. I don't even remember like countdowns. Like I see in movies and TV shows and stuff. They're like 3.
That's how,
like I literally don't remember anything in between. So the first thing I say is, what time is it? And they're like 8:10. And I was like pissed. It took 4 hours because apparently I was Humpty Dumpty in there. There was more broken pieces than they originally thought. And them trying to piece it together. Long story short, they put 3 titanium plates, including a titanium mesh one that's actually holding up my eye. And that's the one that's closest to the nerve right now that is taking time to heal. So you guys have seen the pic, and I'll show, obviously I'll post the pictures, but they made 4 incisions, one above my eye, one below my eye, one on the side of my eye, and one underneath my cheek in the gum area. Which I can still feel the line there. That's why it was hard for me.
They went through the mouth for
they went through the mouth to put one of these titanium plates that are over here. So right now with all the numbness, I literally feel like I can feel the titanium plates. And I know it's the numbness, like
you at least feel the pressure on it.
Yeah, I really feel like I look like the Terminator. So yeah,
you look good. Good.
Well,
why are you saying that with a gross look on your face?
To his credit, he went along the natural folds of the eye. So it is tough to see unless you're looking for it. But I feel like I still droop on the corner a little bit, and that's, like I said, the nerve all the way through there.
All of this because of some punk ass kids that couldn't admit that they did something wrong.
That's the thing I don't get about this. It's like the motherfucker, his boyfriend attacked you because he didn't want to get caught. And it kind of sucks too, because no matter like all the checking back up, working with the police and all this.
Oh yeah, we haven't even gotten into that.
They still haven't even got a name.
Yeah, legally the cops keep trying to go. But so first of all, my case got thrown on a desk of somebody on vacation, of course. So I didn't hear from anybody for a week.
You have the best luck.
My old boss used to work for the police force, so she was able to get me a name, an email, and a phone number so I could contact them directly. Got in touch with them. And she was honest. She said, look, based on this is only a misdemeanor. And since it wasn't a deadly weapon, you know, we don't. It's a misdemeanor. Like, it's fucking stupid.
So let me get this straight.
It wasn't life threatening, and it wasn't a weapon. That's what she said.
But if he was military, it could
Which
have been.
we believe one of them. He has a roommate, and I saw one of them in military garb one day, but I can't. Obviously, I don't have names, so I can't.
It's kind of like a boxer. They're trained to kill.
I reported this to the apartment as well, and so within 6 days, that Saturday, they were evicted. So,
but how can they not have a name?
They have a name.
They just refuse.
They don't have the name of the guy who did it, though. They have the name of the residence.
That's all you need. So you got a fucking doctor bill. Like, if the guy doesn't want
to, my next step to work on that is if they'll give me that name.
So this is how fucking screwed up our legal system is. So they know you were assaulted. Obviously, you didn't make it up because the pricks across the hall aren't answering their doors.
Right. If they were innocent, they would.
Yeah.
You know, why wouldn't they want to clear their names?
I think that the guy that lived there after he got evicted, if he doesn't want to turn his friend in, he should have to take the fall for it. And I think the apartment complex, if they don't want to do more than just a victim and help figure things out, then they should have to take some kind of fall for it too. I mean, it's bullshit. What I was going to say before is, okay, what was that, 2006 when you, Mikey, and I got arrested for nothing?
Somewhere around there.
We were taking wood out of dumpsters.
Right.
And I had like 6 cops at my house.
Well, Mikey took a bundle from the actual. That's why
he did.
Right.
But
that's why we got off and he had to pay a fine. But
even so, like if he took a bundle of wood, he didn't beat the shit out of somebody and make them have to go through hell like you, and you're still going through the stuff. But
yeah, I've
it's
seen
like we
3
treat it
cops
like
in this situation. During that situation you're talking about, we had the whole entire fucking police force looking for 3 kids in a dumpster. I get what you're saying,
but it's just it's irritating. And then it's just like they'll spend more time on people that didn't do shit. Like, oh, there's somebody that got pulled over for a taillight out. Let's have 15 cops pull up and treat it like the person has drugs in their car. Annoying. I mean, you're a better man. You've handled this well. I don't know what it's like when you're home alone by yourself. I'm sure you probably had some tears shed over this situation.
Honestly, and I'm not trying to sound like a badass or anything. Like, I can't cry about this. And
well, you can't because your face is fucked up.
No, it sucks because like I'll get a tear, like it'll just start watering sometimes, and I won't even feel it. Like I'll slightly feel drop of water or whatever. I'm like, oh my god, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's one of the things that kind of
elevated for like 4 weeks. It was fucking terrible.
When you posted the stuff, and you know we're kind of having like a little bit of Discord back and forth, public and private group chats and stuff, and. I want to say either the next day or 2 days later, Jeremy and we met up here at the studio, and just that initial look when I came in here, and Jeremy's, all right, I forget exactly when, but anyways, we were looking at each other and we had that moment like, this is some fucking bullshit. When I first heard the news, I probably spent through 2-3 hours just online looking up some stuff, found the address, contacted the person who had details about that address. But didn't have a name.
Right.
So it's like...
I even tried to use my sources at work to see, but there was not a current resident that had a name either.
It fucking pissed me off. And I want, you said something about the military. I'm like, dude, I really hope that dude who assaulted you is military because that's his entire military career.
Right.
Because,
and I think that's why they're hiding. The cop did say that they believe that the guy who actually did the assault isn't even from here. And I was like, well, I don't know. They've been here the last few weeks. Like,
as in like American?
No, as in like military, Air Force travel, blah, blah, blah. So I don't know. I do need to do a follow-up. Obviously, the job thing came up and I was like, well, fuck.
I'm sure if you were to see that guy again, you would be able to recognize him, right?
Yeah.
And you have the name of the person that lived across from you?
They do.
And they're not giving it to you?
I didn't ask for it.
I think you should ask for it. And
no, so here's the thing. I haven't asked for it yet because that's not going to help me at all unless I want to file a civil suit. But I still need to talk to the lawyer and see if that would be a good way to go. So if anybody has a good lawyer and has any legal advice, please contact us.
I'm saying you should get his name so you can look him up on Facebook, look at his friends, and find the prick.
Yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to.
I don't think she's allowed to give me the name. That's what I was told.
You should be able to at least give them your case number.
You should be able to get everything.
I'm trying to get a job right now real quick. So, I mean, I get it. and I have an angry village with pitchforks, and I'm not talking about actual pitchforks, and I appreciate you guys in the room, Lonnie as well. You guys all reached out to me, all the people that have reached out to me. I've had people just send me like money, just go buy food, go do something that makes you happy. Use this for medical bills.
Like, I can't eat.
Whatever, yeah. That was another thing. I was a lot of SpaghettiOs and mac and cheese.
And Pizza Hut sending you all these coupons for
no,
something.
It was Godfather's,
whatever.
They kept sending me a notification that I had a free fucking pizza.
So want that, but my face
I'm using
looks
it
like
tomorrow,
pizza.
though, so there's been a lot of support, and I appreciate that, and I get how angry people are. I had my uncle the other day when we were at wrestling. He's like, he doesn't follow social media that much, and I was doing my best not to, I didn't want to text a million people and then answer the same question. I was literally copying and pasting my Facebook post and just sending it to people.
Is that why I got a dick picture?
Yes. Well, that was for other reasons.
God.
It's like
God,
that one.
pics.
That one just got beat.
Yeah. You think my face is bad?
Ho!
Look, I'm dancing to it in my head. What was I going to say? That totally sidetracked me.
Names, bills.
Yeah, so I do need to contact the officer. And the last conversation I had with her is she was going to push for a felony if they can get a name.
I don't see how that's a misdemeanor.
Yeah.
You assaulted somebody.
Right. And I go, you didn't beat me up enough, but I had surgery and can't lift more than 20 pounds right now and can't feel my face and
$30,000 worth of medical bills, like
just a misdemeanor.
Yeah, it's like
he'll learn. Sweep it under the rug.
So what can other people do to this guy and not get
charged
for anything?
Like I said, I got
apparently just fractures.
Street justice isn't a bad justice.
I mean,
you want to talk to my uncle Frankie?
Frankie,
out of state.
Frankie Figs.
He owes me a favor.
Yeah,
Frankie Franchetti.
I'm not part of this.
I don't. Beep. Where's your censor button? I don't want to quit this shit.
Am I too late on that?
Maybe. I had to censor the first word myself. I sounded like Lonnie on our last podcast.
So, what, 6-7 weeks later, and now your job?
Yeah, my job. And we won't get into that. I don't want to slander him too much at this moment. I don't like to burn bridges that I don't have to.
It's just a really crappy situation. It's like one day he's celebrating his independence. At the end of the week, he's getting his face smashed in.
Well,
end of the month.
Later,
end of the month, whatever. Yeah. Then all the switch around with all the doctors and appointments, and then
I was finally. So right after it happened, I went to that fucking Rob Zombie concert, and you sent me that. I was like, "Fuck this!" I had so many concerts. I had 2 concerts out at West Fair. I had Craig Robinson tickets, and I had Kevin Hart tickets, all in August. And so the surgery happened on Wednesday, and my Craig Robinson tickets were for Friday at the Funny Bone, and my ass loaded up on Oxy, and my friends took me to the Funny Bone. That was a mistake.
I would imagine.
Because
you have to use your face.
Yeah, it was a sensory overload because I had been in silence for a good almost 48 hours. And then like I get to the Funny Bone, and like Craig Robinson literally had a keyboard. He's like, and it was just like we were right in front, and I was just like, oh my God. Like after it was over, Mikey's like, you want to come hang out? I was like, no. I regret doing. I don't regret not. I'm glad I went for the show.
You had an experience,
and
it hurt.
Yeah, but I should have just stayed home. But
the people at the tables next to him are like looking at him like, what's wrong with this dude? He's like crying and like laughing and
So I'm facing this way, and there's these girls right here, and one of them kept looking at me. She was kind of cute until the lights came on. But I don't know if she was looking at me because my face was all fucked up. And it was fucked up right after surgery. Like it was, Frankenstein my face together.
It's like I have twine.
Yeah. Is that twine holding up his face right now?
It's like that episode of Key and Peele where like, do me.
I get it.
The Breaking Benjamin Bush, that was better, and then Kevin Hart was good. But I did have to take Oxy because I was off of the pain meds after 6 days. I wanted to go back to work that Monday because I was just sitting in an office making schedules, that kind of stuff. Apparently, leaving one person off enough to get fired, but they wouldn't let me come back unless I had a doctor's note, and I didn't have the follow up until Tuesday. So I was like, I
give you the bill.
PTO on that Monday.
So this kind of was a good thing, but not really. because I mean, like, as we have discussed a few times already with like the Mystery of the Manor, we were supposed to be filming Unemployed W2.
Correct.
And you are a main character, and with your face fucked up like that,
Yeah.
ooh,
Yeah, that would have been put a big.
I mean, we have a big
wrench into the filming of Unemployed.
I mean, the end. We could have filmed the end. We could have made it work.
it's like there is a fight.
Yeah, there's a fight. We could have made it work. No, and that was one of the first things we said to each other. Like, thank God,
We're not filming that.
for many reasons. Like I said, you got to do this Mystery of the Manor, which we're going to talk about here in a minute. But
Big shout out to Marissa, Nikki, Dr. Reddy, and all those included.
I'm impressed you remember those names. Super big shout out to Marissa here. I'm going to actually send them like I don't know, like a fruit basket or at least
A Godfather's
That's
pizza.
gonna be a
Godfather's pizza.
Sexual harassment.
No, I got my bill the other day and just threw it on the floor and walked away.
When I was in the military, there was this dude
Suck
who
my ass.
he was like, "Have you guys ever seen a fruit basket?" And I was like, "A fruit basket?" He's like, "Yeah, you ever seen a fruit basket?" And he's like, "No." So there was like 8 of us in this room. So he drops his pants and his underwear, and like he turns around and starts humping the air. And then like on the backswing, he clasps his balls and his junk between his legs, between his butt. And he's like, "Fruit basket." So when you said fruit basket, I'm like, you're going to that's sexual harassment.
I think.
Are you ready for the
faces? Our faces right now.
Are you ready for the guk?
You can hear our faces. Right?
We
can hear mine because sometimes it goes off in an airport. No, so that was literally everybody asked me that question. It's like, is your face going to go off in an airport and whatever? And I'm like, haha. But I had literally asked that question too. So.
Is my face going to go off?
It does.
I do have a follow-up again on Tuesday, so hopefully I can lift more than 20 pounds at this point, which I thought that was just because I was on meds or whatever, but I actually took in groceries last week, and like the blood rushes to your face when you're like lifting stuff, because I had like milk and gallons of Sunny Delight, and so it's kind of weird. It's a weird experience for sure, especially with this nerve damage.
What about, can you get an erection without it running to your face?
I wish that was numb. That'd be an experience.
Yeah. So if you get an erection, carry milk, none of the blood's going to go. Look, it tracks though. It makes sense, right?
Do you guys have any more serious questions for me? I know this segment's probably a little longer than we wanted it to be, but
people got to know.
People got to know. People were curious. Again, I 100% appreciate all the support in every way, even if it was just a text message, to both the job thing and this. Although I feel like, 90% of the people are genuine and 10% of the people want gossip.
Hey, I was genuine, especially with the job thing too. I just know that the pay is not what you.
And that, I think that'd be fun. Even if I could try to find.
Yeah, I mean, I'd pretty much give you the job, but it's just
right.
You'd
Hell,
probably
I can't find anything. I'm just taking whatever I can get right now. Yeah.
Well,
I have a couple leads. Shout out to my friend Chris, who I used to work with. He works at Hy-Vee. We're working on a job there. There's a service manager position open that I would be good for.
Not with that face.
My old job, Famous Days. I'm actually going to talk to them tomorrow and probably just pick up some shifts this weekend just to get some cash. And like I said, I have a bunch of friends who posted links. Some of them reached out to me directly. There's some things that I don't want to get back into, but if I have to, I have to.
Did it ever cross your mind? Like, I'm an emotional guy.
Oh my God.
Like, people don't know that. But if something like that happened to me, I don't know that I could stay at that apartment. Did it ever cross your mind about going to a different apartment?
I get that a lot. I love this apartment. So when me and my friend Jen were going to look at apartments, we had a bunch lined up. This was the first one we went into, and I've always kind of just got an apartment because it was available and it was in my budget and that kind of stuff. I walked into this apartment and I was like, this is my apartment. Like, it just felt like I belong there. Now, obviously, shit like this happens and you question that. So I did, and I thought about it because, my lease was up in September this month. I actually just signed another year because, like I said, I love this apartment. I love the area of town it is. It's close to the interstate. It's close to all my friends. Not really close to my parents, but that's kind of the point. I'm just kidding, Mom. I don't know if you listen.
Jonathan.
It's not close to Ming's, but that's probably a good thing because then it becomes more of a treat. But no. I mean, it crossed my mind for a second, but honestly, no, I'm comfortable there. I was apprehensive for a few weeks to even take out my trash because I don't, I would go in my car and like, I actually had somebody walking in the parking lot and it just like jolted me, what's that called? Overly,
sensitive, like
there's
post-traumatic.
a word. Yeah, kind of. It's definitely some PTSD. It's overly vigilant. You're always just like,
oh yeah,
what is that person doing? Why are they doing that? You know what I mean? So I would hear noises in the parking lot and immediately go out and look, because
a little paranoia.
A question that I get a lot is, are you worried about retaliation? Well, I hope they retaliate because then I can find out who the fuck these guys are. But
wait, why would they retaliate?
Because I got them evicted. But they got themselves evicted.
Yeah, they did it.
If I was these residents, and this is just me, I'd sing like a canary. Like, that's, it's my guest, and I get that. But he's the one that got me evicted. Fuck that guy.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Your battle buddy.
Also, why the fuck did you just randomly beat the shit out of some guy?
You should have
drunk piece of shit.
You should have just put a note on the car yourself that said, people in apartment blah, blah, blah.
Do you know what a Blue Falcon is?
Can we talk about it on there?
That guy. It's a BF, a buddy fucker. Blue Falcon.
Oh.
That dude just fucked his buddy out of an apartment. So
yeah, basically.
Probably fucked him in that apartment too.
Boom Shika.
There it is.
Wow. But yeah, I don't know.
Well, I mean, you try to look at the positive and things. I guess it could have went worse for you. He could have not stopped punching you.
Yeah, a lot of people are like, you're lucky. You could have been dead. You could have been paralyzed,
Yeah, I mean, a brain aneurysm from that many shots to the head. And I mean,
it's 16.
I wonder if I could use this as an excuse to why somebody got left off the schedule. Like, oh, sorry, my brain's just...
Well, if they listen to this podcast, no, you can't.
Hey, I mean... You don't know that wasn't the reason.
Could be.
Also, I got fired for a stupid reason, so let's...
Well, I just look at it like...
Wait, how...
HR at NFM.
How many hits do they get you in?
10 to 15.
16?
I was wondering.
I was like, yeah, something queued up.
Fucking phone in his hand.
16? I love this place.
Yeah.
That's what John said when he walked into his apartment.
It is, honestly.
I love this place.
So hopefully we'll get... I will need to contact and see what we can do about names and stuff like that. But
yeah. When is your bill required to be paid?
I don't know. I qualified for $400 payments for 27 months, and I said, okay.
Fuck that.
Yay.
So your bill is going to be
10 grand.
More than 10 grand?
Like 10,300 some shit. But we're going to work on that.
Jeez.
So with me being the first time anything like this has happened, Mommy, I need your help.
That dude breaking his lease or whatever, all that extra should go towards...
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I hope I can get a name, get a civil suit going, get obviously damages, my PTO that I had to burn, and then maybe some pain and suffering. Since you know what it's like to eat SpaghettiOs for like 2 weeks.
I love it.
I actually do it all the time.
I
know
eat
there's somebody
SpaghettiOs a lot.
literally that just yelled at the fucking radio. Oh, like you don't do that already.
Didn't miss a
Look,
beat.
I'm cheap, so I mean, whatever. Fuck yourselves. Anyway, any other questions?
Break some top ramen on that. You're all good.
I had beef ramen the other day, and then I burped it for like 36 hours after that, and I was like, gross.
Yeah.
Don't like
that. I had a hot.
No.
I had the hot beef sandwich from Farmhouse Cafe for lunch the other
Potatoes
day.
or fries?
Potatoes.
See, I do fries.
But I was the same thing. I was belching that thing for like 2 days, and I'm like, gross.
Yes, it's so good going down, but Taco Bell's like that too. But
So are you signing up to some Krav Maga or something? Or
nah. My mom wants to provide me with, we'll just say, protection.
a rape whistle?
Yes, a
What is
rape
a
whistle.
condom going to do in this? I mean, obviously your attacker likes to
We would catch the blood.
fuck guys.
So yeah, I'll when I share the link, obviously there'll be photos attached to it as well. If you haven't already seen the photos, I can send them to you guys so you can do it on the Boundless PodTrap one, or I can put it in the comments, whatever. Because some of you, your friends might not be my friends, but
We'll have a picture at least for the...
like I said, everybody
title.
at the Mystery of the Manor took all the fucking photos for their bruising.
Yeah.
I don't blame them. They're all, I mean, I was that. See, that's the only thing. We'll get into that when you talk about Mystery of the Manor. But like, I hadn't seen half. We worked with a lot of these people before,
Right.
and so what happened?
I think
I love the people that
Everybody
are like,
bring it in. Bring it
they're
in.
trying to be polite. They're like, oh, I didn't even notice. The fuck you didn't. Okay, I have a half of fucking.
I think when you post this on the social media platforms and stuff like that, his picture in the little circle should be.
Yeah. Okay. Well, in his circle?
Yeah.
Or in like the
little folder. It's just iPics.
iPics? That sounds like
that was like 5 minutes after.
Yeah. That was one where I was like, okay, it could be fake. And then
no.
Jeez. Yeah, that was one of the worst ones. I think that one did it for me.
Yeah.
I actually I remember I was at my buddy Michael's.
Look how pissed my other eye looks like.
Our producer Michael's apartment, and I was just kind of lounging back, and I had come across that post, and I saw the first picture, and then when I came across the second picture, I literally sat up straight in the chair, and that's when I messaged you, Justin, and Lonnie. I'm like, did you guys see John's latest post? And you're like, no. And I'm like, he was fucking assaulted, and then that's when the rage happened.
Yeah. Should I
appreciate everyone's rage.
Once I saw the pics, I believe I was laying down around my wife or so, and then I just jumped up, and I was kind of pissed just to see it. Yeah, I was like, "Fuck, what the fuck,"
And Crystal flinched. She's like, "Not again."
Oh no,
she knows.
Well, I know. I try to laugh it off. I've had jokes. Somebody hit their head at Mystery of the Manor, and I was like, I got a surgeon for that.
I don't get it. Can you please explain that one?
So Dr. Reddy, he will provide.
Reddy.
And then right now, I'll get just intense, almost like a pinch.
Oh, is it happening?
Yes. I said, that's why I was just now. It's like a burning pinch.
If you start crying, then Jeremy's going to start crying.
I feel like the nerve is trying to heal.
If that pinch keeps happening every 3 minutes, the
weird.
baby will be here soon.
It was weird because the under in the nostril, this area, people at home can't see, but it was swollen because of the sinus. As it was healing, it would I could feel it. It almost felt like there was something in there, like a bubble, because it was it would reduce the swelling, and then the nose would try to go back to it's been an experience.
This might be an embarrassing question for somebody who's not here. You were not able to blow your nose for so long.
Yeah, that was terrible.
Right now you are.
Yes.
Okay. Did you experience a lot of buildup?
No, because I was picking it. I straight up was. I have that's why I bought those gloves for the Mystery of the Manor, and so I could pick my fucking nose.
Ew.
And I was literally pulling out the longest. I was like, this is disgusting.
My wife.
When I first blew my nose, you ever had spicy Chinese food?
Yes.
And you know how they have those little red pepper things in there? That's what it looked like came out my nose when I blew it one of the first times. It was fucking disgusting.
My eyes watering.
My wife had a deviated septum, and she just recently had to get her surgery herself, and she was unable to blow her nose. She had to use one of those little neti pots.
Yeah, I almost bought one of those. I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to.
And then when she went back to get her checkup, she was still using it. So she was doing the neti pot for 2-3 weeks or so. So they had to take the stitches out. And
my stitches dissolved.
I'm not laughing at what you're saying. I was laughing at something I was going to say to something you said, but it would have been the dumbest thing in the history of this.
What is that has stopped you guys?
I can't say it now.
You have to now. No. Everybody's listening. Everybody wanting to know.
Shout out to Crystal. Hope you're healing well.
But anyway, they extracted a huge, it was a fucking rock.
Yeah.
And my wife was sitting there oh, what was that? Was that debris or whatever?
It was a bumper.
And the lady was like, it was a booger. And she's like, oh God.
Yeah. There were
there
were some big ones. Yeah. There were huge ones. It's been
I can't look at my wife the same.
It's been an experience for sure. Dealing with a lot of different things. Like I said, I had to sleep in my recliner for 4 weeks. And I feel like I need to go to the chiropractor now.
I'll go with you. I need to go.
Yeah. So thanks for your support, guys. I appreciate it. Love you.
Annyeonghaseyo.
Send me money to pay for this. Stephanie started what'd you call it?
OnlyFans.
Yeah, I was gonna say OnlyFans. Crowdfund, whatever they call it.
GoFundMe?
Yeah, GoFundMe. And Joe Simmons actually donated a pretty penny there. I don't know if I get that money, because I just noticed a few people donated. I think our friend Rob donated as well. It didn't get a lot, and I don't expect people I didn't make this. I literally didn't even share it. I don't think, because I don't know. I don't know. Thanks for the support, guys.
That podcast do anything for you? Well, that's not all. Stay tuned next week for the continuation of this episode, or whenever these things come out. Later.